Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions, where I'm your host, Marcus, and I got teams. In different area codes from the 713 across the 337 to the 225, all the way to the 504. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. And if you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo early, I know it's Monday. Get your drink on. No margarita today, but I'm getting mine on. I actually got a lot of positivity to talk about today. I thought at first I might have a few negativity. I kind of do, but a lot of positivity now that we're going to talk about. But before we get to all that, of course, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to me on YouTube, subscribe to Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. You see my Twitter handles right below my name, my personal Twitter at MarcusLee337. The podcast, no, this ain't even a podcast. This is a YouTube show. Follow this show on Twitter at On The Go _TXLA. Hope everyone's doing good today. And I figured we're going to start on H-Town side. I got a lot of positivity from the Houston side, so let's make it down to the 713. As you can tell, I'm repping the red. We got a game 7 coming tomorrow between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. I think the winner of this game plays the Timberwolves because I know the Rockets are a 2 seed. No way they're going to play the Thunder next. They could play in a Western Conference Finals if they could get that far. So most likely, I think, yes, the winner of this game 7 will play the Timberwolves in the West semifinal matchup. But I just kind of want to break down the last game they just had. Yes, they tied the series 3-3. This was a big win for them. They got the win 115-107 last night over the Warriors. They puts their record now at 52-30. We know that they won their division. They're the first place in their division, won the division title. They're second in the Western Conference. They're fourth in the league overall. But, man, let's talk about this last night, that win in the Bay Area, because it was do or die for H-Town. They had to win this, or they'd have been the only number 2 seed to get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, man. I think the star of that game had to have been Fred VanVleet. Man, in just 40 minutes of play, he had 29 points. He went 7 for 13 in his field goals. A perfect 9 for 9 in free throws. He also had 8 assists and 2 turnovers. And that's solid, legit numbers in 40 minutes of play. Alperen Şengün, 14 rebounds. He led in rebounds in this game. He had 11 on defense and 3 on offense. He did have 21 points, 3 personal fouls. He went 0 for 2 in 3 points, and he was 8 for 20 in his field goals just in 37 minutes of play. Jalen Green, though, he had an outstanding game in just 32 minutes, 12 points. He did have only 1 personal foul, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. He was 1 for 6 in 3 points, and he was 3 and 11 in field goals. Amen Thompson also had a good game, 14 points, only 2 personal fouls, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. He was 0 for 1 in 3-point shooting, 5 for 3 in field goals. But Dylan Brooks, probably the only starter in the game that did not have a good turnout. He only played for 19 minutes, and he was in for 3 points. Steven Adams, though, coming off the bench, man, he 17 points in 31 minutes. Just that's all I remember in that one. But just in this game alone, the Rockets went 35-7-8 total in field goals. They made 40% of their 3-point shots, 70% of their free throws. They had a total of 46 rebounds, 23 assists, 12 steals, 5 blocks, 13 turnovers, and 18 total fouls against Golden State in Game 6. Now, I'll give Golden State their credit. They are tough to play at home. We know Steph Curry can shoot threes. He's the king of shooting threes. He balled out, but it was a hell of a game. It was back and forth, but the Rockets kind of just blasted off a little early, took that higher advantage. They led majority of the game. But they got the win. They needed this. Now they're most likely to win at home. I know they're the favorite. Last I checked, they were the favorite. They were -2 to win at home if you look at the spread. Because they're back in Houston. They're wearing the city uniforms, so they're going back to the classic retro 90s logo, which I do love when they go retro. Not big on the city uniforms, but, I mean, it is what it is. But as long as they can keep winning. I know they've had a decent record playing in those City Connect uniforms with H-Town across the chest. I wish I'd jot that down, but, man, this is going to be a big matchup. And, yes, the winner of this game we'll play the Timberwolves because we know how the rest of the playoffs went. The Lakers got knocked out in 5 games by the Timberwolves. I think a lot of us thought somehow the Lakers were going to try and sneak in the Western Conference Finals. I think now it could be OKC's already. I mean, I'd like to see the Rockets get back to an NBA final, but they got to keep clawing. Well, they got to win tomorrow night. I believe they can. But I know the playoff standings right now, the playoff bracket, last I checked. So it'll be Thunder, Nuggets, Cavs, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics. That's your conference semifinal games. And, of course, the winner of this one will play the Timberwolves. We saw the Nuggets just knocked out the Clippers in Game 7. They're going to play the Thunder, which Thunder probably going to be the one of the favorites to win it. I wouldn't be surprised. They were one of the most dominant teams in this league. I mean, Cleveland also dominated. I mean, Celtics have even dominated. So I'm still considering my picks for the conference finals. I still think it's going to be Rockets, Thunder in the West. The East is straight up going to be Celtics and the Cavs. We all know that. So I'm looking to see what happens. I'm hoping they can pull it off and they can move on and get ready to play Ant-Man, play Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. So shout out to the Houston Rockets for pulling it off. Let's do it again. And then I can share some more awesome news with them. So I'm going to probably close that up with the Rockets. I'll stay on a positive side here with the Houston Astros. Now we'll move to them. Despite how their season's going, I will give them credit for getting a win today. I know they're playing in Chicago, taking on the White Sox. By the way, those city uniforms, you want to call them, where they look like the Chicago Bulls if they were a baseball team, that's a no for me, man. And I love the pinstripe uniforms when Jordan and them were playing. But they went to Chi-Town. They lost 7-3 in Game 1. They played an early start time today. Astros got the win 8-3. I didn't even get the stats for that game. I just have, how their current look is today, but I could probably pull up the stats from the recent game. I know they're now 17-15 overall of the season right now. They did jump up in the AL West. They went from 3rd to 2nd in the AL West. In the American League alone, they jumped a few spots. They were, I think, at the 8th seed, and now they're the 5th seed overall in the American League. And then overall in the league, they jumped quite a bit from 15th to 11th overall in the league, which last I checked, I think the Dodgers are back at the number 1 seed. But just in the month of April alone, they went 14-12. They played 26 games in the month of April. They went 14-12. That's not good numbers. But so far this season, they've only won 6 series. They've only swept 1 team all season. It was the Twins. A couple stat leaders right now. Jeremy Pena leads with a batting average of 0.283. Jose Altuve has lead in 4 home runs this season and 34 hits. Yordan Alvarez has 18 RBIs this season. On OBP for Isaac Paredes is at 0.353. But as a starting pitcher, Hunter Brown has the record right now of 5 wins as a starter. His ERA is at 1.67, and he's already has 49 strikeouts this season. Josh Hader with 8 saves so far this season, and Brian Abreu with 9 holds. So, that's pretty decent numbers, but I feel like they need to get back to the win column. It was about an average season right now, but I feel like they need to step it up a little bit more because it's just going to get tougher. You thought April was a tough month. What they got coming up in the month of April, I think they could pull it off tomorrow because last I checked, I think the White Sox are only the 2nd worst team in Major League Baseball. I know they're currently 9-24. The Rockies hold the worst record in Major League Baseball right now. But they still got to play the Brewers. They still got the Reds, the Royals, the Rangers, the Rays, the Mariners, the A's, all this month. They're going to be playing Tampa Bay twice, actually. Did I say them twice? Oh, maybe just once. But yeah, that's some series they got this month. Looking at it, some of these are going to be tough. Milwaukee could be a tough series. Kansas City could be a little tough. You got the Lone Star Showdown, which I feel like they can probably hang with the Rangers. Don't let that fool you. Mariners are the number 1 team in their division right now. That will probably be their toughest series. Oakland, I think they can handle Oakland. But playing Tampa Bay twice. Yeah, they will play Tampa Bay twice. They will play in Tampa in a couple weeks. And Memorial Day weekend, or I take that back, not the weekend after Memorial Day weekend, at the end of the month, they'll be at home in a 3-game series with the Rays. And hopefully they can get back in that win column. I mean, we've already played a full month of baseball. They're just about an average team. I think they could be better. And I know they just got Lance McCullers Jr. back. He didn't his return back against the White Sox wasn't as good, but Hunter Brown had a great game today on the mound. That put them back in the win column. They hope they can keep this up. But that's all I got for the Houston Astros as of right now. I will close out my H-Town side with a little bonus here, a team I will be talking about. I'm going to talk for the first time, the Houston Dynamo. They will be playing right now. I need to get ready for this. They're taking on LAFC tonight, but this is what I put before their kickoff with LAFC. The Dynamo are currently 2-4 of the season, 13th in the West, and so far they have had 4 unbeaten matchups, a current streak, 4 unbeaten matchups, a current two losing streak, and 6 winless so far this season. These are not good numbers, and they can improve better. But current record, I wouldn't say record holders, but current leaders right now on the team this year. I know Ezekiel Potts, in just 10 games, he leads with 3 goals. Amin Bassi behind him with just 2 goals in 10 games. If I'm saying his name right, Andre Linger, in just 2 games, he has 2 goals. Franco Escobar in just 10 games with only 1 goal. Nicholas Loderio had just 1 goal in 10 games. But top 3 in assists so far this season. And Griffin Dorsey in just 10 games with 3 assists. Jack McGlynn also 3 assists, but just in 9 games. And then Sebastian Kolazic, if I said his name right, he only had 2 assists in 10 games. That's the top 3 players in assists. But also this season, despite that record, I mean, the only records they currently have right now, I know they've scored only 2 goals at home this season, and that was against Colorado. They've only scored 1 goal, and that was on the road against the Timbers. They've only conceded 4 goals at home against Miami this season. They conceded 3 on the road against the Timbers, and they've had a 2-win margin at home when they beat Austin a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and they had a 3 losing margin at home against Miami this season. They need to be better than that. I know this team can be better, and it's going to get tougher. I mean, LAFC is going to be a tough matchup tonight. They need this win before they come back at home next Saturday. And they take on the Seattle Sounders, by the way. I will be at that game next Saturday. You can catch me at the Shell. I think it's 7:30 kickoff on MLS Pass if you got on Apple TV. I know their last 5 matchups against the Sounders, their record is 0-1-4. And that one loss, I was at that game in 23 where they lost 1-0. But all their other meetings in their last 5, they have not beaten the Sounders in quite a while. It would be nice if they can pull it off next Saturday in Houston. I'll be there in attendance. Hopefully they can pull it off. So, because I feel like they should be a better team as well. I mean, this is their 20th season as a franchise. They went back with the retro orange and white home look. They still got the purple as their road, which I love the purple uniforms too. But let's hope they can get everything back rolling and they can get ready with LAFC tonight in LA, and then they're back at home next Saturday against the Sounders. So I'm going to take it across. I got nothing to say in my area or in Baton, but I will take it to Baton Rouge a little bit. LSU, I got to talk LSU baseball real quick. I was in the box last Saturday where it was the largest attendance of the season for a matchup in the regular season at the box. When they took on Tennessee, it was a top 10 matchup. I think it was we were number 7. I think Tennessee was somewhere in the top 5. It was on national TV. It was a sold-out crowd. It was not our night. We got our asses kicked 9-3, but they pulled it off the Sunday. Ended up winning the series that it put LSU back at the number 2 team in the nation. They're right behind Texas, who I know are playing Arkansas this weekend. They lost the first game. I don't know how they went in the second, but I've updated a couple numbers here. I know they played a doubleheader today in College Station, despite the weather they had last night in College Station. They played a doubleheader. I know they lost the first game 3-1, and they just won the second game 2-1. They play one more game tomorrow. So I've updated their current record. As of right now, they're now the number 2 team in the country. They're now 38-10 overall, 15-8 in the SEC, with a 6-6 record on the road. Their home record is pretty damn good, 28-4, and they're undefeated at a neutral site. So far this season for LSU baseball, before it wraps up, we could say they've won 8 series total this season. 4 of them were in the SEC. They've beaten the likes of Missouri, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. They did sweep Missouri, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma in SEC play, as well as 2 other teams. I remember they beat it was some Purdue school that opened up the season, and they swept I don't remember who it was. I think it was not Central Arkansas or something like that. I didn't even jot it down. But I know they've only lost 3 series in the SEC. They went 1-2 against Texas. They went 1-2 against Alabama. And the only time they were swept in SEC play was against Auburn. But before the first game earlier today, LSU was coming into this series with A&M. They've posted 2-1 over A&M in each of the last 2 seasons. Now the record was 17-17, but I can probably update it now. They're now 18-18 in just 36 games of play in the SEC. I know for the against A&M in College Station, they are 9-9 in the regular season while playing the Aggies in College Station since 2013. LSU, though, stat-wise a little bit, I know they're the number 2 team in batting average in the SEC, and they're number 1 in the league in on-base percentage. The Aggies did come in this game at 25-19, but you can improve this record to 26-20. They're now 9-14 in the SEC, and their recent series, they were swept by Texas. All 3 games were 1-run decisions, and before their matchup with LSU, they've had 76 doubles, 4 triples, 71 homers, 37 steals, and 43 attempts. But series is tied 1-1. They need to win tomorrow if they want to somehow jump over Texas. But I need to see how they did against Arkansas. I know they lost the first game. I think they won the second one. But it depends how that third game goes. And if I'm correct, I think they're playing this game in Fayetteville. They're playing it at Fayetteville because I know Arkansas is coming to the box next weekend for their final SEC series of the regular season before they head out to SEC tournament play in Hoover. So hopefully they can keep that up and we can keep this rolling and make hopefully another appearance in Omaha. And then I'm going to close out the show. I do have something with the Saints. I mean, we're just recovering from the 2025 NFL draft. They've had different grades. I gave them a decent grade when we did our open mic night, but one critic gave them a D+ grading. Another grading they got was a C. I've seen C+. No higher than a C+, no lower than a D+. I thought they had a decent grade, but they've also picked up a linebacker or an edge rusher in Chris Rumph II, the 6'2", 244-pound linebacker, edge rusher out of Duke. As of 2024, he had 39 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 turnover of his career. He came from the LA Chargers, who he hadn't seen the field at all last season. He actually hadn't played a game since November 15th, 2023 due to injury. I know during preseason he was put on IR, so he did not even see the field at all last season. I see they able to make a trade with them. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't see him being a starter. I can maybe see him getting some playing time, but you got like Demario Davis at linebacker, the one we just picked up from Oklahoma. We got them guys. We already got our starters, but hopefully maybe we could see him have an outstanding career with the Saints. Because like I said, you talk about linebackers, they not just Demario Davis, Danny Stutzman, by the way, who they drafted. We also got Pete Werner, for example. We got Jalen Ford, DeMarco Jackson, those guys playing linebacker. And so I don't see him as a starter, but maybe we could see him maybe like in the field, especially like maybe for special teams or something. But I was going to keep this short and sweet, but that's all I got for tonight. I was going to keep it short and sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for tuning in. Again, right below you can find me on Twitter at MarcusElite337. You can find this show on Twitter at @OnTheGaux_TXLA. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Subscribe to Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Catch us all throughout the week. But I will add one more thing. I'm going to do all that talking when we do our UFL talk tomorrow. The Houston Dynamo are now on a two. That's the Houston Dynamo. The Houston Roughnecks are on a 2-game win streak now. That's something. They just beat the Showboats again. I think it was the same score, if I'm correct. I think it was they won 21-20 today. Oh, they won 18-17, but both games ended by 1 point. So now the Showboats lose. They get swept by the Roughnecks. Roughnecks are now on a 2-game win streak. They can keep this up. You'll hear, if you want to hear more about my talk with the Roughnecks, you can check us out on our UFL talk sometime. The UFL chat, if not tomorrow, maybe Monday or something later in the week. But this was fun. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. And y'all don't party too hard if y'all celebrate Cinco de Mayo. But thank y'all, and y'all have a good one.